What's up, everybody? Welcome to this season's episode of Not Your Average Stats for Season 3 of Not Your Average Meta. And we have a special guest here today coming to us live from Korea. Justin, he's back.
What's up, everybody? What's up?
It's been a long time. Haven't seen him in a while except through the phone, but he's coming back to join us for some stats. Ironically, I was thinking today, this is the first season Gavin has not been here.
True.
It's kind of weird because he was here for the first one, which he wasn't even a part of the team back then, but he was still here. All right, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this season, International MTG. They have their own TCG store, so if you want to go check them out, the link will be in the description. They can hook you up with some good discounts on the new cards coming out. Look forward to March of the Machines coming out here in a couple weeks, so they can help you out and get some cards. Then you have our other sponsor for this season, the Hobby Horse in Taylorville, Illinois. If you're ever in Central Illinois, don't know why you would be, but if you ever are, stop in and go say hi to Martin. Come play some Commander games with us. It's a good time. So first stat this season is season averages. So we had 32 games we played this year, which is the same as every season. I don't know why I keep saying year, because it's not a year. The season. Which is equal to 12.25 hours of gameplay, which is actually up from last season. But I think it's because we had that unedited video where it was like an hour and some minutes long.
Yeah.
We had 13 different players this season, and we had 113 unique commanders played, which is more than what we normally have. I will say I went above and beyond, and I had 32 different commanders, one for every single game, which I'm never doing again because that was terrible. We really didn't have too many repeat commanders, honestly. I think you played a couple of the same ones. Gavin did. And like multiple people played like Kinrith and Omnath. I don't know if they were the same people, but they played the same commanders. So that's exciting. What do we got next? Total games played. You actually played a good majority of the games. You played 25 of them. I played 31. Then Gavin played 20 and Foyle played 18. Surprisingly, somehow CJ played 11. I don't remember him playing that many, but apparently he did. And as always, in order to be considered a quote-unquote member of the channel, you had to play at least a quarter of the games, which is 8 games. So we actually have 5 people this season. Ryan, like every year, almost made it, but he didn't. Most fourth place finishes, unsurprisingly, were the guest, which I think that's how it normally is. Gavin was second at 5. You were third with 4. Foyle and I were tied with 2, and CJ was 1. I don't know. He didn't have that many chances to lose.
Nah, he really didn't.
Let's see. Third place finishes. The guests came in third place quite often. You came in fifth place, or third place 5 times. So
Nice.
Not the worst, I guess. Foyle and Gavin tied to 3. I had 2, and CJ had 1. So we must have finished in second place a lot. The guests just do not have a good time on the channel, apparently.
Nah. Like I said, they always try to combo off or do some crazy thing, and we always shut them down and kill them. So
That is true. Very true. Most second place finishes. Yeah, there we go. CJ had 4. I had 10. Foyle and Justin had 3. And then Gavin and the guest had 2. This also doesn't include all the finishes for everybody who comboed off and killed everybody at the same time. Or if multiple people got eliminated at the same time. So there's a chance CJ got eliminated at the same time as somebody else that like didn't count at the, I guess at the end, if that makes sense. Who got first place the most? That's the real question. Well, surprise, surprise. It was me with 11. The guest had 6, but that's also a lot of people combined together. And then you had 5. Foyle and Gavin both had 4, and CJ had 2. Don't remember CJ winning that many games, not going to lie. He must have really just snuck in there. Then we have this super fun mini stat up here of players going first versus winning the game. And of all the people who went first, 7 of them were by the guest, and only 1 time the guest won going first. And as you can see, the person who went first did not always win. So if anyone who still thinks going first means you win more games, it's not true. But you were the only person who went first and won first, so you're 100%.
for me,
Yeah.
hey,
I went first 4 times and won once, so yeah, the odds are usually below 50% if you go first to win the game. Next, we have the average place finished. And no surprise, the guests have the lowest average for finishing, so they finished an average of 2.65. Gavin was 1.85, you were 1.68. CJ is 1.54, barely higher than Foyle. And going over it, Foyle actually had a pretty good season because he didn't play the whole season. He actually won a good amount of games compared to other people. And he is at 1.5, and I was at 1.45, so barely under Foil. So Foil did pretty good.
Yeah, this season, Foyle actually stepped up his game.
He really did. Next, we have the records for this season. As you can see, a lot of people only played like 2-3 games, so I guess the guys at the top didn't really lose as many games as people who won the most games, but the way stats work, that's just how it happens. So a person actually finished tied, 2 people tied for first, and it was Donald and Jacob, who were 1-1. And then we have
Nice.
Adam, who's 0-1, made his only appearance lost. Other Justin made his only appearance lost. And Eric was 0-3 in a span of like 3 games. Just a rough go for him this year.
Yeah.
You actually finished the season at 5-19-1. I was 11-19-1. Gavin was 4-15-1. And Foyle was 4-14. Oh, and CJ's 2-8-1 because he's part of that game, which it was a draw, and the first time ever Gavin killed everybody at once, so nobody won that game.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so next we have First Blood, which means you're the player who dealt damage first in the games most of the time. Well, I guess all the time. Number 1 was me, which isn't too surprising because I play a lot more aggressive decks. Number 2 was the guest, mainly because Martin, he had like 6 games where he attacked people first every time. He also plays very aggressive low to the ground decks. Somehow Gavin had 5, which I don't know what those would have been from unless he poked somebody with like a mana dork or something. CJ had 3, you had 2, and Foyle had 1. Don't know what one Foyle had, but he's on there, so good for him. Next, we got players eliminated. So this season, I don't remember if I did it last season, I kept track of who eliminated like the people in every single game. So obviously if you comboed off and won, you got 3 people you eliminated. Or like if I eliminated one person, then the other 2 people got eliminated by somebody else. It'd be 1 for me and 2 for other people. I was number 1 in players eliminated at 34. The guest had 19. You actually had 11, so you were 3rd place, so that's pretty good. Foyle had 10, Gavin had 9, and CJ had 5. This also would count if someone like did a bunch of damage to somebody, then you did it like 1 damage and killed them. You would have got the point for eliminating that player because you're the one that killed him.
I feel like that's where my 11 came from.
I know, right? Just cherry picking out here. Easy money. But yeah, 34. And like I said, the guest are like a bunch of players combined together. So it's not just like one person had 19. That was just multiple people. Next up we have commander damage. So this season, I put a cap on commander damage. Like last season, I didn't. So you can only have a maximum of 21 commander damage dealt to a single person. So if I attack somebody for like 53 commander damage, it only counted for 21. Because that's all you can do to kill somebody. So no surprise again this year, or this season, I was number 1 in commander damage with a combined 271. Not bad.
Nice.
You were actually number 2 with 173. Very...
It's actually surprising.
I know, right? You're very low on First Blood, but very high on commander damage. Number 3 was a guest at 78. CJ had 39. Somehow Gavin had 33. And Foyle had 7. Don't know how Gavin got 33 because he never attacks anybody. 34 players eliminated this season, 271 commander damage. It's safe to say I play a lot of Voltron decks.
Very aggressive with your decks.
I really am. Next we have what the fans really want to see. The averages of commander colors here. The most played mono-colored commander was a tie between white and green, surprisingly. But next behind them was black and red with 5. And then there's 1 colorless commander played and only 1 mono blue commander played. Usually there's more mono blue commanders played.
Yeah.
Then if you go to dual colors, by far the most played dual color was Dimir, like it is every single season at 14. Then you had Gruul at 9, Golgari at 7, Azorius and Boros at 6, Orzhov at 5, then Rakdos, Izzet, Simic all tied at 3, and Selesnya at 1. So pretty good representation, honestly. Except for the overwhelming amount of Dimir decks that were played.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As I said, it's good to see that even though you left, the legacy still just carried on, because my gosh. Next we have the tri-colored commanders plus 5-color commanders, and there's 10 5-color commanders that were played this season. Mostly because the new Joda got played a couple times, and Kinrith got played a bunch. Esper, we had 8, Grixis, there was 6, Naya had 5, Mardu had 4, there's 3 4-color commanders played, and then Bant, Jeskai, Sultai, Temer, and Abzin all were 1s. So, also, I think this is the first season we've ever had where every single color was all represented by at least one player playing them. I remember the very first season nobody played Bant, and then the second season for some reason nobody played Simic. So we had one of everything this year. Now overall wins by color identity, the 5 color commanders won 5 times. Demir, Gruul, and Naya had 3 wins each. Black, Golgari, and Simic had 2 wins each. And then as you can see for the rest of these up here, they all had 1 win. So that's Azorius, Boros, Esper, Grixis, Green, Jeskai, Mardu, Orzhov, Rakdos, Selesnya, Sultai, and White. So really outside of the wins by 5 color commanders, there's a lot of different colors at once. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently 5 colors just ran rampant this year.
It really did.
Who would have thought?
Thanks, reprints.
Honestly, I know. Next, we have the channel averages. So the most played color this season was black at 66 color pips. Next was blue, then white, red, and surprisingly green was last. You don't usually see that.
Well, they didn't really have any good green commanders this year. That's why, or this season.
Maybe. I don't know. Although I feel like every time we play, mono green decks just stomp everybody. But I guess one mono green doesn't make up for all the 3 and 2 color pairs that were played that didn't have green. Next we have all the CMCs of the winning commanders. And as you can see, a vast majority of the winning commanders are either 4 CMC or 5 CMC. Because they both had 9. So that must be that sweet number if you're trying to get a great commander, play a 4 or 5 drop. The average game length before being edited was 53 minutes and 87 seconds. Seems about right. The average turns per game were 10.9. So, I mean, if you round up, you're looking about 55-minute games, 11 turns. So it's about 5 minutes a turn or so. So that's not terrible.
Yeah.
I actually kept track of all the cards that were played in every game, individually. So if you played, the same card multiple times, it didn't count. You know what I'm saying? It's one game, if you recast your commander 3 times, there's only one counted as being played once. Total card plays this season were 1,756. The average cards per game are 54.8. Don't know if that's a lot or not, because it's the first time I've ever kept track of that stat. But, seems pretty normal. One card a minute, I guess. This also doesn't include basic lands. It does include non-basics, though. Yeah, it is true, though. You would play about half your deck. Types of wins, as always on the channel, type of wins was combat-based, because that's how we always win on this channel, I guess. Then we had commander damage, followed by non-combat damage. That'd be if someone pinged somebody a lot or did impact tremors or something weird like that. We have 2 poison wins, thanks to me. 2 alternate wins, which is that one game I won with Happily Ever After, or someone won with some other weird alternate win con that I can't remember off the top of my head. Then we had 1 combo win, and then the 1 draw that Gavin gave us. So thanks, Gavin.
Way to go.
Giving us another statistic for the year. Now, here at the end, we have our individual player averages. My average turns per win are 12.36. My shortest win was 8 turns, which is 28 minutes and 14 seconds. And that was when I played Geared Conclave Exile. My longest win was 18 turns, and that game was 2 hours long. And that was a pre-con where I played Ashnod the Uncaring. And then type of wins, I had 4 combat wins, 2 commander damage wins, 2 poison wins, 2 non-combat wins, and 1 alternate win con. So, what this is telling you right now is I do a lot of commander damage, but I don't win games through that. So somehow I always give the games to somebody else, but I take everybody else really low in life. So, shout out to all those other people who just cherry pick off my commander damage. It really worked out well for you. My most played color was red, and my least played color was blue, which makes sense. Next, we have Justin. His average turns per win were 13.4. Your shortest win was 9 turns at 54 minutes and 37 seconds, and that's when you played Multani. Your longest win was 20 turns, which is also a pre-con game at 1 hour and 30 minutes. And that's when you played Sazarek, the Silent King, the Warhammer guy.
Oh, yeah.
That was a long, terrible game to edit for anybody who's curious about that. That's actually the only game I didn't play this season. Your wins consisted of 4 wins from commander damage and 1 combat win. Your most played color, unsurprisingly, was black, and your least played colors were tied with red and white. No Boros for you. Next, we have Gavin. His average turns per win were 8. His shortest win was 9 turns, and that was 18 minutes and 41 seconds, and that was the last game of the season when he played Kenrith. His longest win was 11 turns, and that was 44 minutes and 46 seconds. And that's when he played as Arden and Silas Rin, like Voltron equipment deck. His wins were 2 combat wins, 1 commander damage win, and 1 non-combat win. His most played color was red, and his least played color was black. I'm kind of surprised his least played color was black, honestly.
I said he always plays a splash of black and everything.
Yeah, and he has like tutors and stuff, so I'm not really sure how that happened, but that's what the stats say, and the stats don't lie. Let me tell you. Next, we have Foil. His average turns per win were 11.75. His shortest win was 10 turns at 34 minutes and 29 seconds. That's when he played Light Pause. His longest win was 17 turns, and that was 1 hour and 26 minutes. And that's when he did like the gift exchange kind of decks when he played Marith. His type of wins were 3 combat wins and 1 commander damage win. His most played colors were black, and his least played color was red. The reason his most played color is black is because he made that Ghoul Caller Gissa deck, and he played that a couple times. Actually, he played a lot of Dimir decks too, so I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Then we have CJ. His average turns per win were 10.5. His shortest win was 10 turns, and that was 53 minutes and 36 seconds, and that's when he played Marnius Calgar. His longest win was 11 turns, and that was 33 minutes and 22 seconds when he played Optimus Prime. But that was also that 2-headed dragon game, so, I mean, that win wasn't all his, to be honest with you, but that's the only win he had besides his Marnius Calgar game. So really he only won 1 game this season.
Yeah, both the stats, eh?
Yeah, I know, right? Patting the stats out here. I guess a win's a win, though. And his 2 wins were combat damage wins. His most played color was white, and his least played color was green. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I've only seen him play like 3.
Honestly, when he always played this dinosaur deck.
I was going to say, I've only seen him play like 3 decks, so I guess that makes sense.
That one or the red-green goblin deck.
Yeah. And Marnius Calgar, he literally only has like 3 decks, so I guess that makes sense. Then last but not least, we have the guest over here. Average turns per win were 10.1. The shortest win was 7 turns at 25 minutes and 36 seconds, and that's when Ryan played his Raga Draga Gorguts deck when he like comboed off and killed us all to infinite whatever he was doing with his Joiner Adept, making a bunch of mana. The longest win was 15 turns, and that was 1 hour and 26 minutes and 30 seconds. And that's when Patrick played the Amira Soul the Accord pre-con like starter decks.
Oh, yeah.
The type of wins were combat had 3, commander damage was 1, combos 1, and alternate win cons were 1. And the most played color by our guest is tied between red and white. And ironically, the least played color was tied between black, blue, and green. So not a lot of soul tie over there, although a lot of people played soul tie decks, but a lot of people played red and white decks, aka Martin. If we've learned anything from this, it's that the pre-con decks definitely take way longer to play than a normal game of Magic. By like an average of 30 minutes.
All the board wipes.
Yeah, that's a big part of his board wipes. Now we have the all-time channel record after a total of 96 games have been played. Your record right now is 19 wins, 69 losses, and 1 draw. Not bad.
Nice.
Mine's 34 wins, 60 losses, and 1 draw. Gavin's is 9 wins, 36 losses, and 1 draw. Foils is 9 wins and 27 losses. And CJ's was 2 wins, 8 losses, and 1 draw. Asterisk, that should be 1 win. A lot of offers up there still. And Kess still has the best record at 2-1 because he played those 3 games and then never showed up ever again. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the stats this year. I don't really know if there's anything that's too surprising. I feel like a lot of them match up with like previous years, to be honest with you.
I mean, without Soul Ring, like, the times are pretty much the same, so it didn't really affect anything.
Oh yeah, I guess I could throw that in there. Forgot all about that. So we banned Soul Ring this season to see if it made a difference. And after looking at last year's stats and this year's stats, the difference in like average like turns per win was like 1. Not even that, it was like 0.6. So it literally made no difference whatsoever if you had a Soul Ring or didn't have a Soul Ring. For any of those stat heads who are wondering that. But yeah, I mean, I love stats. I know these episodes don't get a lot of views, but these are always fun for me. It's like my spreadsheets I keep through the entire season. So I'm excited for next season because it's going to be a lot different than it was this season, obviously. Hopefully Justin can get us some fun games from Korea over there. We can get some new people
I'm trying.
I've never met or heard of before.
I try and, like I said, I worked on a new deck, token deck, so we'll see how that goes because all my stuff's still being shipped out to Korea. So I made a jank token deck out here, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, also, as a spoiler for everybody who actually listened to this all the way through, I recently made an audible and I decided that for this season, outside of the normal ban list, I'm unbanning all the cards, so anybody can play whatever they want. I'm trying to get Thassa's oracled by everybody. We'll see what happens, though. I don't think I've seen one single person play that or have to take it out of their deck once we banned it, honestly.
What?
Thassa's oracle.
I mean, the only people who play are like the turn 2 win tryhards that are trying to win the tournament.
That is true. I guess it's not as prevalent as it used to be in casual Magic. Hope everybody liked this season. It was definitely a lot of fun. I'm not trying to build 32 different decks this next season because that took a lot of time and effort, even though I say that, and I've already built 8 decks in the last 2 weeks. So maybe I will. I guess we'll find out. I'm hoping to have some more games on here where I'm not on the channel, so it's other people playing. Not that I have a problem playing all the games, but it's nice to see other people play, not the same people all the time, you know? Thanks for joining us. I hope Korea's going good for you. He's over here working hard. He's in a different time zone, so I'm interrupting his normal work day. What'd you say?
Living in the future, y'all.
He really is. He's living in tomorrow.
Yeah, it's April 6th out here. It's currently 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
dude, it's like a time machine. This is blowing my mind right now. All right, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us. We're almost to 1,000 subs. Can't wait to get there so we can get some monetization, do some giveaways. But yeah, talk to you guys later. Peace.
Peace.